How's it going, you rough scallion bastards? The name's FOXSOL. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Wavering Waves content here on the channel. And in today's video, we're going to discuss who is the best DPS to who is the worst DPS. Now, my opinion is going to differ probably from others, but I think I got a good context of who I think is, the best of the best and the worst of the worst. So let's just get into it. Alrighty. So I will say like this real quick as a disclaimer. I think tier lists are bullshit. And I think that you as a person, if you like a character, you know what it looks like aesthetically, how it plays, how they maneuver, how in general they work, and that's what you like. Do you boo-boo? It's the best line I've ever heard of from a friend of mine. Do you boo-boo? Don't worry about what others think. This is just a video of me playing some characters earlier and what I have played and what I haven't played, and making a generalized list of who I think stands out the most in their respective rankings. So either you can agree with me, you can disagree with me. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer in this. So let's just go ahead and get started. First at the top of my list is already on the screen, and that is Jinhsi. He is going to be the top DPS of this game. Quite simply to put, he has the highest damage potential right now in this game. Well, one of the highest damage potentials in this game. And that's mostly thanks to his powerful ultimate, which is a two-part ultimate. So if you combine his AoE attacks and which is great for crowd control and give him a great deal of potential to help round up the enemies into, I guess you could say, a singular area, Jinhsi can basically hit them with one strike and kill them all. He is what I like to call the crayon chewing, paint sniffing, or paint shitting character of this game. Basically, he is the character. He is the new Tekken 8 of this game. Very simple to play, mostly brain dead. Like if you summon this character, you're wailing out and you summon this character and you don't really want to play the game, but you want to be the best, you can play this guy right here. It doesn't matter if if you have all the resources to build him properly, it doesn't matter. He's going to go ahead and he's going to be flashy. He's going to deal extreme amounts of damage. And he is overall one of the greatest characters in this game. And that should be, relatively expected, especially for an event summon character. It's just that Jinhsi, the way I see him is that at first I thought this character was going to take skill to play. It doesn't take no skill. This character, if you put him with the proper team and you buff him up and you just go in there and you wail. And at that point in time, you will kill everything in sight without any issue. Let me put it that way. He is clearly a double S fucking tier character, and he is on the top of my list as one of the best. But that leads us to go into our second character, which I would say I would consider the second best DPS in this game, and not in terms of damage. We're talking in terms of damage, Calcharo would probably be the number one DPS, but compared against Jinhsi, Calcharo is a character that if you compare the two of them together, they have completely different play styles. Calcharo isn't a easy character to play or as forgiving as Jinhsi. Calcharo tends, in my personal opinion, to rely on precise time management and skill management in order to maximize his damage output. So if you really want to make someone like Calcharo, the best of your team, and you want to make the most of him as your DPS, then at that point in time, you really need to focus on your skill management and your time management of those skills. So I would relay that Calcharo is more for your skilled players, or even those who are just experimenting with, hectic combo heavy play styles. But you will find that Calcharo does have probably some of the highest damage potential of any permanent character in this game. And if you have already summoned as well as for Yinlin right here as your sub DPS for Calcharo, it's kind of like the Morphet for Jinyan. But the difference is that Calcharo goes ahead, he grabs Yinlin here. He pulls her close to him, He pulls this bitch close to him. He puts a line of cork right on top of her boobies, and he fucking snorts the shit out of that coke. And with her ult and her fucking outro skill, putting him into his intro skill, Calcharo fucking, under the right circumstances, the right hands, and with the proper time management and the proper skill management, you will see a character that nukes an entire playing field. It is a character this is the Sephiroth of the game that has a fucking addiction to fucking murder. That's the way I'm going to put it. I think, like I said, I think he is one of the better characters. He is also a double S tier. The only reason why I'm ranking him down a notch is because if you think of it in fighting game terms, a character that really does high damage potential, but you could just mash your way through and just fucking win, versus a character that you need to precisely work with, he's going to be lower on the totem pole in that regards, just because, hey, the character requires skill compared to another. But I would say equally, both him and Jinyan is legitimately the top DPS of this game. They're neck and neck. It's just that Jinyan's got something a little bit better, and that's Jinyan players could take their finger and shove it up their nose and just face roll on the controller, where you can't do that with Calcharo. That's just how I'm going to end that right there. That's going to lead me to go into our third DPS of this game. And oh boy. I'm going to consider Encore our third ranked DPS of Wuthering Waves. I haven't had much experience playing her, but from what I have played and from what I've read and from what I've seen so far, Encore follows a trend in pretty much any type of anime. And I'm going to say, from her skills, from her damage, from the burn that she can do, that she is really good. She is a very good DPS. I'm not going to say she's the best, but she is a solid A tier if the others are solid S tiers. She's a solid A tier. Encore follows the classic anime tradition. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if you watch anime, you've played anime games and stuff like this, Encore follows the tradition that she is the game's biggest bruiser in the form of a tiny little girl. I don't like this. She's a bitch in a fucking little girl's body. And it's great. It's absolutely great to a certain degree. It's just that it's not my play style personally, but it's also not something that aesthetically appeals to me to want to play. But I will say that Encore's kit is largely focused, from what I've played so far, I would say range combat, while her ultimate basically changes to melee. And equally stating, both her forms, are great. Encore would be, a great DPS option, I would say, at this time, especially if you're a person that favors or likes, a flexible play style. If you like playing range and then, popping your ult and going to melee, she's great. I mean, there is a small caveat, you can say that, when she does become vulnerable, if you don't remove her to a safe range after her ult is used. Okay, so before the ult timer ends, you want to move her somewhere else, because otherwise bad things happen. That's all I'm going to say. Otherwise, from what I've experienced, Yeah, I'm just gonna put her there because her damage output is pretty damn good. Okay, it's pretty damn good. She's pretty strong, and I was debating, who to put in the third spot, to be honest, because it was her or it was going to be someone else, and she became the third spot. Which leads me to go ahead and talk about a character that I have played a little bit of, more of, to be honest, that I wanted to put in the third spot, but there was something that held her back, and that's Danjin. Danjin here, I would say that if you're a person that has played games like Metal Gear Rising, Devil May Cry, fast-paced action games with maneuvering, that you need to have footwork as well as the ability to learn how to parry, you learn how to attack at the proper time to be able to counterattack. Danjin is that character. And let's just say like this. If you thrive on the fast-paced gaming, if you thrive on skillful maneuvering, then Danjin right here would be very appealing. Especially, I would say, to free-to-play players, to be honest. Danjin would probably stand out to be one of the best, actually, not better. She'd probably be the best 4-star DPS that you would look for. When the event banner came for Jinhsi, when we had it out, pretty much we were able to summon. She was one of the characters that was up, and pretty much within like 310 pulls, we got her maxed out. Okay. So if you're putting Astrites in, you're not putting no money, and you're summoning, and this will probably be one of the 4 stars with Mortify, excuse me, that you put those two together, that would just keep showing up over and over and over and over again, and you should have no trouble summoning Sixer. So with that being stated, with her, exemplary maneuvering, it does help complement her straightforward attacking. And this is where I think, is really good, because Danjin allows you to basically deal a significant amount of damage consistently without relying on your ultimate cooldowns. However, though, with Danjin comes a caveat, it comes a catch. She consumes her own HP when using these skills. And this is the reason why I had to rank her under Encore, is that she is a glass fucking cannon. She's incredibly rewarding to play. Don't get me wrong. She is fucking fun to play. And if you're adept, at parrying, you're adept at countering, you're adept at dodging, you'll have fun playing this character. But if you're a person that you're not too worried about parrying, you're not too worried about countering, your dodging sucks, you're not that good at it or whatever, just realize that she's very fragile. Even with a good healer on the team, it doesn't really help out Annie, because her survival is going to really depend more on the player's reflexes, depend on more on the player's skill in general, to make sure that she works. But she is a solid DPS. I wish I could have ranked her right under Calcharo, but Encore took that spot just because the risk and reward of playing a glass cannon that can do significant amount of damage. I have to look at the glass cannon part. I've played against the holographic bosses with these characters in order to truly try to get an assessment on them. And I even played against a lower rank one, because these are level 70 and the other ones are level 80, just to get a feel for it. And like 2 or 3 hits in, man, like I'm dead. So maneuvering is a key component. So this is a character that's really based on reflexes. And I think that she's still a great DPS. Just understand that there's a tend to be a little bit of a skill issue here when it's going to come to it. So who would come after Danjin? And this is where my sad part comes in, because I had to do something here. And that is, I had to put someone above someone else. She's or however you want to pronounce her name. I call her Dante. Dante here is going to be what I would say, if you're a free-to-play player, okay, is going to be your go-to DPS in the beginning. I believe she is the second character from the beginning of the game that we just get for free, one of the starting characters. And while I will say, you know, it's unrealistic to expect her to outperform premium characters like Calcharo or even Jin or even Daijin or Encore, Dante here pretty much is quite capable of being a good DPS herself. Okay. Her kit is very easy to use. It's very straightforward. She is basically sitting around, quickly dodging around and firing her pistols, going boom, 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 boom. The reason why I call her Dante from a distance. And, you know, you need to shoot from a distance. That's her. She delivers, in my personal opinion, surprisingly high damage for a free play character. Well, for a free starting character in that regards, which makes her the reason why, you know, that she's pretty good. I would solely say that if you are, you know, playing this game originally, she is one of the best characters to start working with as your main, as a main DPS until you build up. And then you will probably replace her until later on in the future, which maybe they'll buff her or not. I don't know. However, like I will say like this, however, like most starting party members, when you get in a game, like from an RPG or a gotcha, stuff like this I have played in the past, her main drawback is that she has slow activation to her skills, I would say. Slow activation to her alt. And her kit is really, even though it's good, it's beginner friendly and everything, it's not, it's single target focused. Okay. Like her attacks focus on single targets rather than a wide range of array. That kind of limits her, in my personal opinion, from being a better DPS. Even though, yes, her alt does do, you know, a 360 damage, anything in the circle, but her main attacks is going to focus on one target at a time, rather than some characters where you hit one target, you're hitting multiple targets at the same time. So let's just say that the drawback and the reason why she's going to be lower on the list, she's going to be number 5 on my list, is that it's her versatility that is going to be her biggest core weakness. And with that being stated, you know, I would say that on a tier list level, I would say that she would be a solid B, you know, just because of that. I think, you know, so far good and everything else, but yeah, that versatility is what kills it. Now, we're going to get to the part of this conversation here that I don't want to have, because this is my boy that I started this game with, that I fucking fell in love with. And he is going to be on the bottom of this DPS list, and that's going to be Lin Yang. That's right. I said in the beginning of the stream, you know, Lin Yang is one of my favorite characters. Fucking loved him. Really great in the beginning, but over time, this character has fallen off. And the reason being is that he's very unique. Okay. Like his play style, his design, it all hints, you know, at this character's going to be pure fucking fun. This is going to be my monk. This is going to be my motherfucking, I'm going to beat your ass, boy. This is my Kevin from Saiken Densetsu 3 or Trials of Mana 3, if you would. It's a retarded cat boy, beast boy, whatever you want to call it, that legitimately I felt we should have more power behind his fists. But if you're looking for, you know, a unique play style, Lin Yang right here is your boy. But the trade-off, the reason why he is at the bottom of this list is that his combat capabilities, his damage output is so low. It's so low that even if you master this character, you know, because there's some tricks to him. He's a little bit tricky with his maneuvers. It's all how he works with his skills. They don't translate to big numbers. That's just the hard truth. I have built echoes around him. I have given him better weapons. I have done what I could to try to make this character work, but he's put at a disadvantage compared to other characters like Jinhsi or fucking even Calcharo, you know, other heavy combat focused DPSs. It's just because he doesn't have the damage numbers that come behind him. I mean, he's easy to pick up. He's easy to play. So if for beginners, this is a great 5-star to play with, but you're better off that if you got him summoned, but you got Jinyan, you're better off playing Jinyan. If you got him summoned, but you got Calcharo, you're better off playing Calcharo. I mean, it's honestly night and day. You'll see more damage coming out of these two characters for very little cost than all the work you would have to put into doing a full combo with Lin Yang. And that's really where I'm hoping future-wise with Lin Yang that they will actually look at the character and they will buff the character and give him more strength behind his punches. So I have to take him on a rank, on a tier listing system. I have to put him as a solid C, man. I have to. Until future-wise, today is 11 to 15th. Until future-wise, they do some kind of an update or something to make him maybe buff him. He's got to stay at a solid C. Simple as that. But other than that, guys, that's really all I have. Tier lists are bullshit, like I straight up said. So just take this with a grain of salt from from everything that I just told you. The best advice that I can give to anybody is it doesn't matter if you like Lin Yang, it doesn't matter if you like Danjin, it doesn't matter if you like fucking Jinhsi, it doesn't matter if you like Calcharo. Hell, it doesn't even matter if you want to fucking make Sean Wu here fucking your DPS. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to make Lin Yang your DPS. Tier lists are there just to express people's opinion. But your opinion and my opinion are two different opinions. And if you legitimately have fun doing something, don't let someone else go ahead and tell you that you're doing something wrong. Okay? Be you, do you, boo-boo, have fun. Like I said, this entire DPS tier list was just a video that I wanted to make on the channel, but in all honesty, I want to make sure that, you know, it was understood disclaimer-wise that, hey, take it with a grain of salt. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you guys want more in-depth on the characters, we can start doing more guides and everything on each one of the characters. We'll start building them up, doing all that, and basically showcasing the characters off some more. I've done one for Yinlin. I've done one for Jinyan, but I don't mind doing it more. Let me know in the comments below if you would like that. Let me know in the comments below if you like more videos like this, because I do plan to do one for the sub DPSs. I do plan to do one for the healers on the team or supports on the team. And yeah. Other than that, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. And I will catch you on the flip side. But before I let you go, just remember, if you do subscribe, hit that notification bar, because every night after 6 p.m. Central Time Zone, I try my best to do live streams on this channel. So that way we're playing Wuthering Waves. We're also playing solo level or rise right now, but we're going to be going back to Wuthering Waves since we just hit our next union rank of 50. So we got to start building these characters up, and we got to start going ahead and going torture ourselves against some holographic bosses. All right. Take it easy. See you on the flip side.